in his career where he's a little banged up, a little slower than what we're used to seeing him. I think right now, Sammy Watkins is completely healthy. He's explosive in and out of the breaks. Every ball that they're throwing to him, he's coming down with, I believe, 11 targets, 9 catches. Yep. My man is putting up monster numbers. And like you said, without Tyreek Hill that takes the top off every coverage, this offense is extremely versatile.
We haven't even talked about LaShawn McCoy. I mean, I know LaShawn McCoy may be up there in age, but he is a guy that you start talking about that can finish football games. It takes some of that pressure off of Patrick Mahomes. You got Williams back there as well. So he was a great pickup, I thought, late in this in the preseason. And I think, when you look at this football team, they're going to be tough to beat. Yeah. I do concern about Patrick Mahomes. He's taking a lot of hits today.
Taking some hits. LaShawn McCoy spread offense fits him. Gardner Minshew, though, comes in for Nick Foles. He's 17 of 18.
Speaking of taking hits, that's exactly what happened in Jacksonville. Our production truck has taken a power hit. We're hoping to get that matter resolved and get you back to that game, Kansas City at Jacksonville. When we come back, we'll take you out to Tennessee at Cleveland. Rejoin Jim Nantz after this.
We were talking at the very top, Tony, about the enviable position for the Titans. All this talk, hype across the country, excitement about what are the Browns going to look like, and no one talking up the Titans, and you just knew they were relishing this role.
It's just the pressure you're already putting on yourselves. I mean, the Browns, they're...
Now set the lineup for Week 2 on CBS. The Miami Dolphins look for the bounce back. I don't know what to say about the Dolphins. Hosting New England next week. They're down 59-10. Not even halfway through the fourth quarter to the Ravens today. But anyway, next week I'm going to promote it. It's going to be some game. New England and Miami, early. For many of you, late. We're going to be in Oakland, Kansas City, and the Raiders.
Ooh, that'll be a good one.
One of the great rivalry games. One last time Kansas City plays in Oakland.
Even though you are trying to get us to go do New England and Miami, we're going to stick with the Raiders and Chiefs.
Okay.
That's going to be good. I want to see Oakland. That when you go through a lot of stuff, it can bring you together.
So, folks, we welcome you back here in the Studio 43. And again, we're still experiencing technical difficulties there in Jacksonville. The score, 37-19, Kansas City on top. And again, as we explained, our production truck took a power hit. So that's why you're having some difficulties there. And we will keep you abreast of the action as much as we can.
75 yards for Patrick Mahomes. He's following up his MVP year with an MVP performance today. He also got hit a bunch of times, and that's, Coach, you were talking about that. He twisted his left ankle. He stayed on the field. The kid is almost indestructible.
Yeah, speaking of indestructible, how about Derrick Henry? My man has been phenomenal today. We saw him catching out of the backfield, but here he is once again leaking outside. But this is Delanie Walker right here. This offense for the Tennessee Titans all of a sudden has some versatility. The running game with Derrick Henry, you look at those numbers, and Delanie Walker, welcome back. 2 touchdowns on the day on 5 catches.
You look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just mentioned to Phil earlier in the day, I said, when you look at this team, you just wonder the effect of Nick Foles going out and how that can kind of trickle-down effect to your defense. And I know you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs, but, this defense has given up a lot of plays today, certainly in the secondary, and I thought that was one of their stronger points. But, you'd like to get Nick Foles back because there's something about him that gives you hope.
And speaking of getting back, we're going to get Phil back into this conversation as well, like we're high for a quick timeout. And an update, Phil.
Well, listen, 40-19. Butler just kicked a field goal, 4th one of the day for Kansas City. Sammy Watkins being healthy. Tyreek Hill's out. Didn't change this offense at all.
We take you back to Tennessee at Cleveland.
Aerial coverage on today's game has been provided by Goodyear. Now, Ken Mayfield hit when he threw it. We got a flag at the...
All right, again, so Tennessee comfortably ahead 36-13 over the Cleveland Browns. We're going to take you, to a much more competitive ball game. Those of you who are still not getting that Kansas City at Jacksonville game because of technical difficulties, we take you to that Jets game. 3 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Jets on top, 16-10. Let's join our announcers at that one.
Roberts was on the side, a 38-yard strike thrown by Josh Allen.
Going to look at that 59-10 score and rethink all their predictions.
And
And they are in victory formation. RG3 will take a knee, and that will do it. What a day for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. A franchise record 59 points, and they blow out Miami 59-10. So that'll do it from Miami Gardens. 59-10 the final. For our producer, Steve McKee, director Andy Goldberg, James Lofton, Jay Feely, our entire crew, this is Andrew Catalan saying so long from Miami. Let's go to James Brown in New York.
All right, a career effort by Lamar Jackson, 17 of 20, 324 yards and 5 touches in that spanking of Miami, 59-10. We take you now to the contest. Buffalo up by 1 over the Jets. Let's join the announcers in that game there.
The Bills, 1st and 10. Well, if you're Sam Darnold, Kevin, you just got to give one of these receivers a chance.
And it is a final in Jacksonville as Kansas City wins it 40-26 over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 33 for 378 yards. Andy Reid now 16-5 in the month of September. We take you back to Buffalo and the Jets. 1:17 left in regulation. Let's join Kevin Harlan.
Oh, that's fluttering, and that is incomplete. And on downs, the Bills will get it. And a flag has been thrown. A flag has been thrown.
The final score, folks, Kansas City Chiefs win it 40-26. And again, we apologize to the folks who were watching that game. Our production truck did take a power hit. But again, the Chiefs win it 40-26. Big game by Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 33, 378 yards and 3 touchdowns in that one. We take you back now to the contest. Buffalo at the Jets, 1:02 left in regulation.
Walking there. Old Stadium for the last game for the old Browns. He was there. Grew up a ardent follower and fan for the Browns, and he comes back home, if you will, from just down the road in Akron. And he puts a stomping here on the Browns today, 43-13. Beckham with 7 catches for 71 yards. Mayfield 285, a touchdown pass, and then 3 fourth-quarter picks. Henry with a total offense of 159 yards, including a touchdown.
Picking up right where he left off last year.
Yeah, he was so hot. One of the hottest players in the league the last month. Final score is 43-13. Coming up next, the State Farm post-game show. For Tony and Tracy, Jim Rickoff, Mike Arnold, and all the crew, Jim Nance saying so long from Cleveland. We'll take it back to New York for all the scores and highlights right after this.
This is the State Farm post-game show.
And welcome back inside Studio 43 and the State Farm post-game show. A reminder, up next, it'll be PBR. The question is, will the Bulls buck every challenge, or will the Riders reign supreme? It's going to be a wild time out west at the PBR Anaheim Invitational. That comes your way next right here on CBS as we welcome you back. Full house here along with Boomer, Nate, Coach, and Phil Simms. And again, we want to apologize to the folks who were watching that game in Jacksonville, Kansas City at Jacksonville. Our production truck took a power hit, so we apologize for the low signal there. But again, we have the highlights of that action starting with Boomer.
Well, the Kansas City offense didn't lose much, even though they lost Tyreek Hill earlier in this game with a shoulder injury. But you talk about shoulder injuries right here. This is going to end up being a broken left clavicle for Nick Foles. Essentially, he's done for the season. But, you know, Damian Williams is going to take this in here from 3 yards out. Look, Patrick Mahomes, 25 of 33, 378, 3 touchdown passes. All 3 of those touchdown passes to Sammy Watkins, who had 9 receptions for 198 yards. Gardner Minshew played okay as a rookie, thrust into a very difficult situation for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was 22 of 25, 275, 2 TDs and interception. But, I was wondering how LaShawn McCoy was going to fit in here. And I thought, man, this is a great fit for this offense. And he really turned out to have a very good game for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes tweaked his left ankle, it looked like, in the middle of the second quarter. But, this team is going to be very, very difficult to play against offensively. They're going to put up 32 to 30 to 40 points a game, it looks like, and Patrick Mahomes picked up right where he left off last year.
Yeah, you mentioned Sammy Watkins, and he was unbelievable. He had just 3 TDs last year. In this game, he went completely off, matching that total. And check him out right here, catching the ball over the middle, and then right now, getting upfield, going north, and that explosion. This is what we thought about him when he first came in the league. He has fast feet. He can run every route in the book, outside, inside. And here, looks like a coverage breakdown, but once he gets the ball in his hands, he's going to explode. You know, we were making comments about this offense in the offseason. Sammy Watkins came out and said, yeah, we're all around a 4-3. And everybody laughed and said, wait, Sammy, you're not a 4-3. Guess what, guys? I believe he is. And Phil Simms, you said something to me last year.
Yes.
That never judge a guy when he's injured. And Sammy Watkins has been banged up through the middle part of his career. Right now, he's healthy. And as far as week 1, let's just call it what it is, he's the best receiver in football. The numbers say so.
All right.
You know, and I think right now you sit down there, and for Doug Marrone, you sit there, where do you go from here with Nick Foles? But you look at Gardner Minshew and what he did when he came in there. Now, you can say what you want, but his numbers, 22 of 25. He hit DJ Clark, who had over 100 yards receiving. Leonard Fournette ran very, very impressively in this game. Defensively, don't judge them too quick on one game. This is the Kansas City Chiefs. They've done that to a lot of teams, will continue to do that to a lot of teams. And from a Kansas City standpoint, I still have some concerns about that defense. Now,
Sure.
Steve Spagnuolo, this is a new system, new year. You'd like to think it's going to get better as the season goes on. But I tell you what, I'm not discouraged in Jacksonville. I want to retool right now and come back because you know what? I saw some good things in this young quarterback.
Well, I thought he played great. To go 22 of 25, I don't care if it's against air. That's pretty good. I know they were behind, but that's good. They gave him a lot of action during the preseason. He played well. Thank God they did, because it has to give him some hope going forward. What should bother you about Jacksonville? All the penalties, just not controlling their emotions. Miles Jax, you expect all those good defensive players. Kansas City, yes, the receivers are great, but who is supposed to have the best tandem corners in the NFL? Jacksonville, it didn't work. And Sammy Watkins, I saw him this preseason twice, and I went, oh my gosh, he is finally full speed.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since we've seen Sammy Watkins at full speed.
Yeah, he's back, man. But getting back to Jacksonville, it has to be tough when you have Nick Foles coming in as your savior. You spend all that money to bring him in, and then you give him a new contract. But listen, speaking of Gardner, play on words, hopefully Nick Foles planted some seeds with this young quarterback on how to be a backup and rescue an organization once the starter goes down.
Let me say this. Last year, he played at Washington State. He was going to go be the backup at Alabama as a graduate transfer. Mike Leach calls him, basically begs, come on out. You'll lead the country in passing. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And, of course, he did. He threw unbelievable numbers. Then he became a folk hero out there because of the stash.
Yeah.
Everybody wore him. Even Mike Leach was wearing it.
Yeah, I remember
on the
that.
sideline. So what all those throws, that just tells you something, too, about quarterbacks. And we know, Boomer, preseason football, get some throws in, get the feel of the game. He got 400 and some throws out there at Washington State, probably over 100 in preseason this year, and it helped him in this game today.
Let's not forget, this team 2 years ago was in the AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles.
Right.
So I'm telling you what, it's more about this football team than just, Gardner Minshew.
No
It's
question.
about this defense. It's about this offense, getting back to the running game with Leonard Fournette and playing more disciplined football. So it's one weekend, again, you know what? Let's come in here and rally on Monday. We lost to a team that was in the AFC Championship a year ago.
Yeah.
If we want to go, we need to go. We need to clean some things up.
Here's what would scare me. It's 1 week, I know, and I'm not going to overjudge in 1 week because it changes, but it's a continuation of last year.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me a little bit about watching today's game.
Well, I hate to be overcritical, and we don't want to exaggerate things right now, but I'll pose this to the table. Boom, you can answer this. 2 years ago, when we fell in love with the Jacksonville Jaguars, did they fool us? Were they for real? Because last year, undisciplined, defense wasn't what it's supposed to be, and opening up like this, maybe they're not as good as we thought they were.
Yeah, I just think their quarterback situation has been like in a state of flux for the last 3 years, and now it's back into that state of flux. And you're asking a lot from a rookie, guys.
No question.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, this is going to be a long haul for them. This is a tough blow for them to absorb, especially with the amount of money that they spent to bring Nick Foles down there. And oddly enough, this all happened on a beautiful touchdown pass that he throws to Chark, and Chark comes down with his first touchdown of the year of his career, and it all ends with a broken clavicle. So it's
And the offensive proficiency of Kansas City continues. 22nd straight game, scoring 25 or more points. And again, we apologize for the technical difficulties experienced in that game, Kansas City at Jacksonville. We'll continue with the State Farm postgame show right after this. The SEC on CBS returns Saturday when second-ranked Alabama faces its first test of the season, that against South Carolina. Coverage begins with the drive to Atlanta at 2:30 Eastern. It'll be followed by college football today right here on CBS. Instant update.
Yeah, it's nothing. No Melvin Gordon, no problem. Philip Rivers finds Austin Eckler 1 yard out, completes 11-play, 68-yard drive. They are up over Indianapolis 7-0. And earlier in the day, up in Cleveland, there's a lot of hoopla going up with Cleveland, a lot of high expectation. But I'll tell you what, it was all Tennessee in this day. You can see Marcus Mariota right here. There's a screen pass back to Derrick Henry, who's going to take this all the way 75 yards for a touchdown on the day. Derrick Henry, 159 total yards, 1 rushing touchdown and this receiving touchdown. And Baker Mayfield was harassed by a Tennessee defense that was all over him. You're going to see Malcolm Butler return this interception, 38 yards. It was Baker Mayfield's 3rd interception of the day. And he has sacked 5 times as well. And the Cleveland Browns had 17 penalties for 182 yards, the most since 1951. Their offense was 1 of 9 on 3rd down. And again, you can see Tennessee went in there and dominated that game.
It was a productive day for Derrick Henry, and after the game, he talked with our Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks a lot. And so much talk about this Cleveland team and all the hype coming in here to Cleveland. That was the talk by everyone. Did you guys feel that motivated you, added some fuel to the fire coming in?
We aren't really worried about, the hype. They have a good team, man, and they got, a lot of good pieces in. We just had to focus on what we had to do. Coaches put their plan in. We just had to go out there and execute, play our game, and do what we do.
How about what you did out there? 84 yards rushing, a 75-yard touchdown catch. You feeling healthy? You feeling good out there, picking up where you left off?
Man, God is good. Yeah, I'm feeling healthy. It's a great play by all my teammates blocking. And, and on that screen, I caught the ball and just got downfield, man. But it's a great execution by the offense, and I'm glad we got the win as a whole.
We talk about the offense, but we have to talk about your defense and what that secondary did with those 3 interceptions there at the end. What can you say about how good this defense could be?
Oh, yeah, the secondary, they pride themselves on my man catching no balls, and they did that today. Our defense, they, like they say, defense win championships, man. They played a great game for us. We just had to come back out and put some drives together, but I'm glad they held it down, and I'm glad we got the win as a team.
Appreciate the time. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
How about that, Derrick Henry? I was able to talk to him last week, and I said, listen, there's a lot of hype with this Cleveland Browns team, a lot of talking coming out of Cleveland. How do you feel about facing this squad? He said, well, you know what? That's not our style. We go out there and we talk with our pads. And this is what he does. It's almost symbolic that their starting running back, Derrick Henry, their starting quarterback, Marcus Mariota, they don't talk. They go out there and just handle it a very humble way. And he was a beast today. You see this screen right here? Boom, you talked about this one.
I was going to say, man, if there were ever a team that were opposite of the Cleveland Browns in terms of hype coming into this season, it's these guys, the Tennessee Titans. And don't think for one moment that Mike Vrabel from day one of training camp has been telling them, oh, I can't wait to get to Cleveland. I can't wait to get to Cleveland, and using that as motivation. They're a big physical football team, and don't think for a second that they're not going to, come in there and try to just absolutely intimidate you. And I think he was nice. We saw some of the stuff after the game in the locker room that he was saying to his players. We can't show it on TV because not everybody had all their clothing on, but I will say that it was kind of interesting listening the way he was kind of talking to his team, because it tells me that he was playing the whole underdog card the whole time leading into this game. Now, the other side of it, though, and you know this and I know this, there is nothing worse than getting pummeled at home, throwing interceptions, talking in the offseason about how this team's going to go to the Super Bowl and all that other stuff. Freddie Kitchens and Baker Mayfield now find out what it's really like to be in the hot seat in the NFL.
Well, you know that feeling a lot better than me.
Okay.
So I don't know about that. But, Nate, when you talk to Derrick Henry, did you think you were talking to a running back or a defensive end?
Yeah, that's what he
that's one thing. So they did what they did. I thought they would win the game if they did 20-17, something like that. But you know what it is? They were right. They just out-hit Cleveland. And we all know it. We talk about all this fancy stuff and everything. Usually the team that hits the hardest and is the most physical, they win. Marcus Mariota, all the questions about him. How do you like me now?
Bill
Perfect game by him today.
To say, impose your will on the opposition. That Tennessee defense got it done.
It was, but you know what? There were two things. The undisciplined manner of Cleveland with 17 penalties, and that line of scrimmage, because the defense right here, the Cleveland Browns were all over him. And it started up front. You talk about the pressure I put on him. Cameron Wake had 2 sacks in this game. And I'll tell you what, the cumulative effect of him getting beat, they talked about it in the game, Tony and Jim, they mentioned, he didn't get sacked the last 5 games of last year. He got hit a lot in this game. Not only being sacked, got hit, he got uncomfortable. And for the first time, you saw Baker Mayfield feel uncomfortable in the pocket.
It's the NFL, man.
Listen, they lost their left tackle, gets thrown out of the game. They're down to their third left tackle. You know, when you look at them right now, you know, this is a team that's going to become more disciplined. This is a team that's going to be able to convert third down. This is a team that's going to have to win with their defense. And you know what? Right now, they have a lot of things to do. It is 1 week, a little bit of a wake-up call, and probably not the worst thing to happen to them today.
Well, Boomer, you know this, and I know it. When you get hit almost every play, what do you expect the next play? Oh, they're going to protect me? So it makes you uneasy, makes you not think clear. You're off target with throws. And that's about as bad as I've seen Baker Mayfield throw the ball.
The NFL, man, you got to be a man to stand in there. And they're going to find out now because they're just going to get ridiculed and criticized for the whole week until their next game, until they get back on the field. That game can't come fast enough. And that next game happens to be next Monday night in New York against the Jets, who blew a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. So you're going to have 2 teams that are going to get together in a week that both are feeling the criticism that is coming their way. I just say this. And I said it in the pregame show, so I'm not, Monday afternoon quarterback or Sunday afternoon quarterbacking here. Freddie Kitchens is a rookie coach. He's a great dude. We all love him. Tony Romo had him down in Dallas with Bill Parcells and all that other stuff. I'm just telling you right now, this is a very young, mercurial team. Yeah. I would have liked to seen a much more established head coach running this team as opposed to dumping this all on a rookie head coach. So he's got a lot of work to do to fix this thing and get it right.
But to Bill Cowher's point, he likes that coaching staff. It is only game 1, and just recently it was Freddie Kitchens addressing the media.
Of course, we've got a locker room full of disappointment right now, which we should have. That's not the way we want to be represented. We lost our discipline, we lost our composure, but it's one game, and we're going to be tested. Adversity, you take adversity and you either run together, run toward each other, or you run away. And I think we've got a bunch of guys who are going to run toward each other, and we're going to be fine.
Man, they're already talking about adversity?
Well, I'll say this about adversity, and I said this before. It doesn't build character, it reveals it. You're going to find out a lot about some of the people in that locker room and who the leaders are, because you know what? It starts up front. It starts with being more disciplined, being more focused, and you know what? Every man looking in the mirror to say, you know what? I'm going to do a little bit more next week.
Yeah, I just want to say, Marcus Mariota, we talk about that. Jason Lockenford talked about it. Oh, if he's not playing well, Tannehill, but what a great day for him to come out, throw those 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, and also for their offensive coordinator. I mean, if I went out and asked 100 people who the offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans is, we'd get a 0. It's Arthur Smith. This is his first game being a coordinator. He did a really good job.
Baltimore and Miami, Nate.
Ooh, we got some highlights in this one. I tell you
depends
what.
on what side of the fence you're on.
Yeah, you're right about that. Lamar Jackson, who said he couldn't throw? How about this 83-yard San Antonio Brown's cousin? But I'll say his name because he earned it. Marquise Brown, who goes by Hollywood Brown on Twitter. And here he is, my guy Lamar Jackson dropping off another touchdown. My guy had 324 yards, 5 TDs, 0 interceptions on 17 for 20 passing. What is going on in Baltimore? 59-10 in a rout over Miami.
What went on in Baltimore after the game was a jubilant Ravens locker room.
Talk about the game balls. First of all, to our perfect quarterback and everybody it's a group effort, right? Yeah. To our quarterback, Lamar Jackson. Victories are amazing things, and they mean a lot, and you never forget them. To our general manager, his first victory.
Cowher's got it.
I can tell you, John Harbaugh is very excited about this football team. But you know what? I feel like he's got a little kid with a new toy, and that's Lamar Jackson. You know, he talked about all the numbers you threw out. You mentioned nothing about him running. And I think he had 3 rushes for like 6
yards. Yeah.
Biggest questions we had talking about coming in, you know, can he go to the next level? Can he make the deep throw? They went out and got Marquise Brown. They went out and got a deep threat because you start loading up the box against him. What you're going to do is get a lot of single coverage on the outside. And you can see by those numbers, that's a nice ratio right there. 20 throws, 20 to 25 throws, run the football, little play action, play the defense. And I'll tell you, the defense, when you're playing it that way, they're fresh at the end of the game, and they look that way.
Well, Bill, the running came from where you would expect it most times. Mark Ingram, who I thought was a great addition to the team, he went over 100 yards today. So Lamar Jackson, they had it all going. We got Mark Ingram, 3 running back. Everybody's back there. He drafted 2 receivers, 1st and 3rd round. They both made catches today. Bring them up, throw it deep. And, man, that has to give Lamar Jackson a tremendous amount of confidence.
When they drafted Marquise Brown, number 1, right, out of Oklahoma, I'm like, man, all right, so they're going to want to throw the ball. And the reason they want to throw the ball is because they have a kid in Lamar Jackson who can throw the ball. We all know he can throw it, right? But I'm just telling you, watch when he throws the bomb down the middle of the field. I mean, he is like just standing there and flicks it down the middle of the field. You don't see Lamar, you only see Marquise right
Yeah, he just threw it beautiful, nice spiral.
How beautiful it was. So this kid has got a little bit of his cousin Antonio Brown in him, and you can see it. There is a flair for the dramatic. Look, this is a great start against the worst team in the NFL.
Yes.
And I get all that, and I want to take anything away from these guys. Because the one thing that they were talking about in the offseason, John Harbaugh was at least, you know, Lamar's going to run the ball 15 times a game. I hope he doesn't do that. I don't want him to do that. I want him to do exactly what he did today, standing there, 20 to 25 throws. And look at that kid, Marquise Brown, man. That kid is a burner.
Yeah.
Let's go. This could be one of the more enjoyable offenses to watch.
I actually felt bad for him when he got drafted. I said, oh, that poor kid's never going to catch any passes. Okay, I was wrong.
You know, it's funny. Over the summer, we heard John Harbaugh talking, and what he was saying, Lamar's going to run the ball. We got Mark Ingram. We got tight ends. I should have known something was up. He was faking everybody out.
Coach is lying.
That's what they're lying in the offseason. He knew all the whole time that he was going to be throwing the rock down the field. When teams come and load the box like that, 7, 8 guys focus on Lamar Jackson's legs, Mark Ingram in the backfield, of course you're going to have to go up top. And now they got a guy in Marquise Brown that can take the top off.
You know, Bill, the last thing is that you watch them. Their defense is different this year. I think it's faster. They can cover. The whole team's faster. So they're not only big, which we know they are, now they got more speed than they had last year.
They're younger. And I think with John, it's kind of fun right now to watch this team evolve, watch his team develop, because right now what he's got is a bunch of kids running around who he's bringing along. I like what they're doing in Baltimore.
I like the character of this kid, Lamar Jackson. I like what I'm seeing. Instant update, boom.
Instant update. How about Eli Manning? He's fighting for a job, right?
Yeah.
What he does is takes his team right down the field. Look at that. He's throwing the ball on the run to Evan Ingram. That's a 1-yard touchdown pass. The Giants going to take a 7-0 lead on the Cowboys down there in Big D. And, you know, we talk a lot about young quarterbacks trying to make a push to get on the field. Daniel Jones for the Giants is one of those quarterbacks. And this is the thing about Eli. You know, he's going to have to fight every single week to keep his job. And if he plays like he did on this first series, that'd be nice.
Well, they were good all preseason. A good start today. Buffalo at the Jets. Le'Veon Bell catches a 9-yard pass from Sam Darnold. The 2-point conversion was good. Le'Veon Bell, nice good day. 14-0. Jets lead at that time. But QB Josh Allen comes back and just throws a rifle down the left sideline to the speedster John Brown to put the Bills on top, 17-16, down 16-0 the Bills were. Fought their way back. Josh Allen, what a gutty performance by him. And the Jets, very gutty by them. They fought hard all day, but Buffalo, the defense, Sean McDermott, to me, that was the difference in the end.
And speaking of Josh Allen, after the game, it was our Amanda Balionis talking with Josh Allen.
Josh, if I would have told you at halftime this is going to be the outcome of the game with everything kind of going the wrong way for you guys, what would you have said?
Well, Amanda, I would have called you a liar. No, but our defense played outstanding tonight. You know, hats off to them for doing what they had to do. You know, it wasn't pretty. First half, a couple things didn't go our way. You know, moving the ball well, just couldn't finish there. And second half, we came out, we found a way. Motor gave some spark. You know, our O-line did a great job, and then Smoke made a really good play over there for the touchdown. Proud of this team. The fight that we have, that we showed today, we're going to carry this over, hopefully.
You know, Sean McDermott talked about how important it was to build trust with this entire team. Team bonding was a big focus during preseasons. He said, when things get bad, you have to rely on the guy next to you. How big was trust in this game?
Well, we have a saying, we call it calm breeds calm. We weren't trying to panic. We understood what we needed to do. See you, Coach. You know, early in the first half, we were hurting ourselves, and we knew that once we kind of put our foot down, executed how we were supposed to, you know, we found a way. So, like I said, I'm proud of this team.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
And that they did in finding a way. Josh Allen, 24-37, 254 yards and a touch, 2 picks, but they got the victory in that one by 1 over the Jets. We'll step aside, back with more of the State Farm postgame show after this.
Keep moving, keep moving. Foot on the gas, cannot let them pass. Good luck trying to catch us. Good luck trying to catch us. We ain't gonna never stop. This is the State Farm postgame show.
And welcome back to the State Farm postgame show. And a reminder that we're back with more football next Sunday. Regional action in week 2. Many will see Tom Brady and the defending Super Bowl champion Patriots against the Dolphins, or an AFC West showdown between the Chiefs and the Raiders. And it all begins with the NFL today at noon Eastern right here on CBS. Coach.
Instant update right here. Jacoby Brissett answers that touchdown pass from Phillip Rivers. He's going to find T.Y. Hilton 4 yards out. He's already in this game, 8 of 9 for 61 yards. Adam Vinatieri missed the extra point, though. They trail 7-6.
All right, really good game down in Carolina. Excuse me, the Rams visiting the Panthers. Second half was really good. Christian McCaffrey had quite the day right there. He's going to sneak it in there and get inside for the touchdown, 23-20. But Todd Gurley had almost 100 yards on 14 carries. Jared Goff right there, key touchdown pass late in the game. The Rams go on to win a hard-fought road game on the East Coast that started at 1 o'clock, 30-27.
All right, how about Atlanta, Minnesota? Tell you what, this running game for Minnesota looks good. The Cook is back, and he's serving up TDs. 19 yards, Dalvin Cook. Just check out the quickness. Let me remind you, this is 2 years removed from that ACL. Right there following his blocks, and he gets in for a second TD. 21 carries, 111 yards. And yes, the Vikings, they beat up on the Falcons 28-12.
21 points off of turnovers in that one, Nate, by the Vikes. Go ahead, Coach.
That one looked pretty good there, Nate. I'll tell you, this looked pretty good. How about Deshaun Jackson? He returned back to his hometown Philadelphia Eagles. He's going to catch his 53-yarder from Carson Wentz. He had 8 catches on the day, 154 yards, 2 touchdowns, and Carson Wentz had 3 touchdowns on the day, no interceptions. Here's a third one. He's going to go right here. He's going to find Alshon Jeffrey in the back of the end zone. Darren Sproul got a 2-point conversion right there, and they went on to win 32-20, or 32-27, as you can see right there.
Well, I'm going to make a comment about that Rams-Carolina game. It was a hard-hitting game, big time. And the Rams went out there, no action during the preseason. They performed pretty well, but the difference, I hate it too, the difference was Carolina turned it over 3 times, the Rams only once, and that was really the difference in the game.
Yeah.
And Cam Newton did not have any rush, really didn't run the ball, but what?
You're a pretty hard-hitting quarterback when you play.
Man, I was a great tackler. I threw a lot of interceptions, so I need to go get the guy.
We always thought he was the best
show continues after this. It was a physically dominating game by the Tennessee Titans over the much ballyhooed and talked about Cleveland Browns. Again, only one game, but an impressive win, 43-13. Tennessee, after the game, it was Baker Mayfield answering the press about how his team would respond next weekend.
Because everybody's going to throw us in the trash. I think that's good. I know what type of men we have in this locker room, and quite frankly, I don't really give a damn what happens on the outside. I know how we're going to react. I know what we're going to do, how we're going to bounce back, and we got a Monday night game coming up. So we don't really care. We're ready to go.
You know, I think he's got to say that, and he better be right. You know, it's going to be a tough post-game press conference for him, for Sam Darnold, a couple of the second-year quarterbacks, but Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, man, they're going to have big smiles on their face today.
All right, our NFL insider Jason Lockenford joins us.
Yeah, Nick Foles will have surgery tomorrow for that fractured clavicle. It's not necessarily season-ending, but probably at least a couple of months. As you can see here, a lot of weight going down on that clavicle.
Can I ask you a question here?
Sure.
Could Chris Jones be fined here for this? Because it looks like last year they were throwing penalty flags on
No, he can't. He drove him into the ground.
Yes.
Definitely can't.
That determination can be made by Troy Vincent and the guys at football
why wasn't
operations.
a penalty flag thrown on the play? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Maybe their eyes weren't on it because it did result in a touchdown. So once the ball was in the air, they had to focus on the ball being caught in the air.
He was actually hit. I mean, he was hit while as a ball. He didn't take an extra step.
But lifted up and driven into the ground.
Yeah, no, it's certainly been a point of emphasis for a while now. Tyreek Hill has a clavicle injury as well. They did an X-ray on him. It does not appear to be fractured. However, they got to do a CAT scan, some more tests to see exactly what's going on there. He could miss a little bit of time. We saw Patrick Mahomes limping around a little bit with an ankle injury as well. No real concern there, but they could sit him a little bit in practice this week. You might see a little more Matt Moore than usual, just as a precaution.
Yeah, immediately I panicked when I saw that Tyreek Hill was sitting on the sideline. But then I thought about the roster and the depth that they have on that offense. As much as I like this speedster taking the top off of coverages and opening up everything for everybody in that offense, I think they're just fine without him.
They got some weapons there, but boy, the guy I'm concerned about was Patrick Mahomes. He took a lot of hits, particularly early in that game.
No question about it.
Go ahead.
Boomer getting in form for tomorrow on his radio show, grilling our guy.
Oh, he's got it all going. I might wake up at 6. No, I won't.
We've got more of the State Farm postgame show coming your way right after this.
This is the State Farm postgame show.
And tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and a tribute to 20 years of reporting by Steve Kroft. That'll be followed by a new episode of Big Brother, plus NCIS Los Angeles and NCIS New Orleans. That's tonight only CBS, as we welcome you back to the State Farm postgame show. Phil.
All right, we got an instant update. Here we go. Dak Prescott, double clutches, hits Blake Jarwin down the middle, 26 yards for the touchdown. Tied up with the Giants. Dallas, 7-7. So there you go. That was my first instant update. That was cool.
Wow, that was pretty good indeed. You know what? So we've got some final thoughts. Let's start with you as we go around.
Final thoughts. Hang in there. It's never over. Play the next play. That's what the Philadelphia Eagles did today. Looking down here, all these great things. Well, Nate, outstanding receivers. What do you think?
Yeah, you had 8 receivers over 100 yards in the early slate of games. We know this is a passing league, but who would have thought? And how about Baltimore Ravens? Even Lamar Jackson is out here throwing for 300-plus yards and 5 TDs.
Well, for me, Patrick Mahomes is back and better than ever. Now, he tried a no-look pass today. Okay, Patrick, we get it. You could do that. Take it easy. Time you missed, and you had a wide-open Travis Kelce. You could have had 4 touchdown passes. So, my thing is that they're going to be really, really tough to beat. They are so good. He is so good, and Andy Reid is such a good coach that, you could see them putting up another scoring record again this year.
I mean, I know it was the Miami Dolphins, but I was impressed with the Baltimore Ravens and what they did with Lamar Jackson, and even like you said, defensively. And I think again next week I'm looking at this Cleveland Browns against the New York Jets. You're talking about 2 teams coming off 2 very tough losses. Yeah. That is going to be a very important game very early in the season.
I'll tell you something that would help get your season up to a great roll. Philadelphia, Buffalo, both big down early. Or is that right? Did I say that right?
It'll work.
Down early big. Yeah, whatever. They were losing. And the way they hung in there, came back, and just kept playing, they got it done and won. That way, man.
That's it. You know what? A good first week indeed.
Good, JB.
It was all good. Hey, folks, we're looking forward to next week, and we'll see you right here on the NFL Today on CBS.
A lot of times.